Welcome to Flash Tutorial 26, Light Dimmer. It's a follow-up to Flash Tutorial 25, which was Dimming Light, and that's the FLA I have opened on my computer. I'm actually going to make a modification to it. I'm not too happy that this is really bright, my lamp. So on the bulb layer right here, I'm going to select that frame right here where we've made it maximum alpha. Open up the properties panel. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to change this alpha here. Instead of to 100, I'm only going to make it around, in this case, 82, and I think that looks a lot better. Yeah, see, this doesn't get as bright, and everything else is the way it's supposed to be. Let's start with this tutorial, and what I want to do is select all these frames. Right click and remove them frames. I then want to, if I can do it, try this in one motion, select all these frames, right click, remove tweens. So now I have no tweens. I still have all of my movie clips. We don't see them because the alpha on them is 0. For example, if I look at my picture, if I unlock that, come down, there it is there, that's my picture, and if we check here, remember the alpha is 0. That's why we don't see them. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select the top layer, insert a layer, call it button, B-U-T-T-O-N, and select that first frame. I want to make this 50% so I can see it, and I'm going to pick up my rectangle tool. Again, I got this grid in here because I had my alpha at 0 the last time I used it. Let's make this 100 again, and I want my button to be gray, and a white stroke is good, and I'm going to make a little button right here holding my, no, I'm not going to make a little rectangle right there, that big, pretty small. Oh, I didn't have the rectangle tool, and make a little rectangle right here. I'm also going to pick up my straight line tool. I think the straight line tool uses the stroke. Make it black, and I'm going to magnify this again to 200%. See if I can find it. There it is there. And I'm just going to put a couple of lines in here with my straight line tool, which represents some kind of a button. There. Pick up my selection tool, highlight it, go up to modify, convert it to a symbol, make sure movie clip is selected, and it's butt, B-U-T-T underscore MC. Butt underscore MC is what I'm calling it right now. Copy that, close that off. It's highlighted, open the properties panel, and paste that in for the instance name. Lock that layer. Select the lamp layer, or the layer that's under the button layer, insert a layer, and call it line, just L-I-N-E. It's just a line. Select that frame. Let's make this 50%, and we're just going to again use my straight line tool. So let's pick up color gray. I want a lighter gray than that. And right here, using your straight line tool, draw a line, and this can be as long as you want physically, because we're going to be moving this button up and down to vary the intensity of the light. Okay, so let's unlock both of those layers. That's the line layer and the button layer. Pick up your selection tool. I'm going to just using my arrow key, move it over to the side, blocking the line, selecting frame 1 of the button, And I'm using again my arrow key and putting that down the bottom there, centered on my line. We now got to come up with a couple parameters for our button. So I'll make sure it's unlocked. Selection tool, highlight it when it's down in this lower position. You'll need a pencil and paper, and this is the button. It's the lower position right now, the lower position, and I want to find out what that is as far as the Y is concerned, and it's 277. I'm going to just drop it down a little bit more. I'm going to actually make it 280 here. 280, enter. So 280 on the lowest position, and now I'm going to move it up all the way, and I'm going to make that 75 just for myself. Make that 75. So I got a 280 and a 75. I want to put this back down on a 280. 280, enter, and it's back to where it was. And now I know the limits of that button. I'm going to rename this button. So I unlock the button layer. I'm going to select it, open my library, and where I'm calling it But MC here, I'm going to call it dimmer. dimmer_MC. And now I'll have to go into my properties panel and do the same thing. dimmer_MC. I'm doing this because I have the code written and I don't want to have to be changing my code. Let's lock all the layers. Select the top layer, insert one, and call it Action Sctipt, AS. Select that first frame on the Actions panel and open the Actions panel. And right up here we're going to start by declaring two variables. Type. VAR. One is button up. That was the highest position of the button. So I have capital BUT, capital UP, colon number turns blue, equals 75. That's the y-axis we recorded. Semicolon. Then copy that and paste it. Change the up to low, and our low position was 280. Make sure you have a colon at the end. And we're going to put another variable, so you can paste here if you want, paste, or you can write the line from scratch. It's another variable. It's called button range, capital BUT, capital RANGE. That's how far it moves from one limit to the next. Colon number turns blue, equals. And we could have just done the math and put a value in here of this subtraction, which would have been 205, but this allows us to make changes to the length of that line should we want to, and let the code do all the work for us. So number equals button low minus button up. So in this case it would end up being 205 for this particular button setup I have. Now yours might be different. These numbers could be different. Skip a couple lines and type. We're going to create a function. function, that turns that purplish color, and I'm calling this function dim. There's an open and closed bracket for parameters on this function should you have them. There's the open curly bracket for this function, and this is what's going to be inside the function for now. And down here we need a closed curly bracket. And inside this function we're going to create another variable, VAR but moved, capital BUT, capital MOVED. This is how far it moves as when we put the cursor on it and moved it down. And it's colon a number, NUMBER turns blue, equals. It equals, and what we're doing is we're taking where the button is now based on when we have the mouse on it and the cursor on it, we're moving it. So dimmer, DIMMER_MC, that's the button we're talking about, period _Y. So wherever it is at the time, we're going to subtract the upper value 75 in this case 75, but we're calling it but up, colon, and this will actually give us a value, so we'll know where this button is at any given time based on how far it is from being up top. Now from that we're going to create another variable. It's VAR. I'm calling it percentage bright. It's sort of like it's a decimal value based on where the cursor is now as to what the total range is. So VAR turns purple, PER, capital P, capital B, RIGHT, colon, number, equals. This button moved, so you can copy this, paste it here, divided by but range, so you can copy this, paste it here, and put a semicolon. So now we have a value, a decimal value, as to how far that button has been moved, up and or down. Now we want to write the code that actually allows us to move this button, this thing I'm calling button, and it's dimmer underscore MC is its code. So type. Here it is. Dimmer underscore MC, that's that button, period, on press, small o, capital P, that turns blue, equals a function. Open and close bracket, and there's the open curly bracket for the function. There's the closed curly bracket for this function. You can put this semicolon in or not, it'll make it anyway. So when we press it down, we want to have something happen. We want to be able to drag that little button as we're moving it up and down. So dimmer underscore MC, period, that's the button. Start drag, small s, capital D, that will turn blue. Open bracket. Now these are parameters for this dragging. We're going to restrict ourselves in some manner. The first thing here, this one here is a question it's asking of you, and the question is, do you want the center of the movie clip to lock onto the cursor? And whether I put false or true in here, I seem to get the same result, so I'm going to stick with false. Comma. Now this next parameter, and as you're typing them, you're going to have things come up here. Like maybe I can demonstrate that. If I get right here and go G, open bracket, this is what I'm talking about, this information. Okay, so now we're at here, and this one here is, it wants to know how far to the left we want it to go. Well, we don't want it to move left or right, so we're saying I want its X to stay the same as what it is. So dimmer, that's the same movie clip, underscore MC, period, underscore X, meaning I don't want it to go any further to the left than what it is now. There's a comma after false, and there's a comma after underscore X, a comma after but up, a comma after underscore X here again, and then a close bracket and a semicolon. Then the next one is, how far do you want to go to the top? Well, we want to go to that upper limit, but up, one of those variables that we did from the very beginning, capital BUT, capital UP, another comma. Now how far do you want it to go to the right? Well, we don't want it to go to the right, so just copy this and paste it in here. And the last parameter here is, how far down do we want to go? Well, we want to go to the lower limit, which is but low, which is one of those ones, again, those parameters we made in the beginning. Close bracket, semicolon. And now we're actually going to tell it to move. So back here, you can copy and paste, dimmer underscore MC, period, on mouse move, small o, capital M, that'll all turn blue if it's spelt right, equals dim. That's this function up here that's going to allow us to dim this, to dim these lights. DIM, capital DIM, and then the semicolon, and as I said, there's the closed bracket, closed curly bracket for this on press. Now what happens when we leave it go? When we leave it go, dimmer underscore MC, period, on release, small o, capital R, and we have to have that equal. We need two things to happen here. If I don't put this on release outside, it'll still want to work when I'm over here. So equals, you could actually copy this and paste it, dimmer underscore MC period on release outside, small o, capital R, capital O, equals a function, open and close bracket for the function, for the parameters. Here's the open curly bracket for the function, there's the closed curly bracket for the function, and in here, dimmer underscore MC period, stop drag, small s, capital D, open close bracket, semicolon. So now let's try this, and this should allow us to move that button up and down and not be able to move it left or right. So test movie test, there it is. I can move it up and down. I can still move it up and down, this is good, but I can't move it left or right. Now I just want to show you, if we didn't put this in, I'll just remove that for a minute. Whoops, cut that out. And I want to just show you what would happen if we didn't have that line in. This would work, but it would still stay doing it out here like that. And I'm not pressing the button now. See, I can't unpress it. So we need that in here. Undo. Now this is generating for us, this is going to generate for us here a value that we're going to use to control how dim or bright this light is. So I'm going to declare some variables back up here. Type, two variables. VAR, it's called bulb dim, BULB-DIM, capital B, capital D, colon number, that's equal to 0. So that's with semicolon at the end. That's when the light is at its dimmest. And variable bulb bright, colon number equals, and I think I dropped that down to 80. And another variable, just like a bulb where we had a range, type, we have something called the bulb range, colon number, and it's equal to the bulb bright minus bulb dim. So you can just cut and copy and paste these two and put them in. Make sure you have a semicolon at the end. I want to make four more statements here. Type, and they have to do with the alpha of the movie clips. So there's the bulb underscore MC period underscore alpha equals 0 semicolon. So the bulb will be dim when we start it. Copy that, paste it, change the bulb to lamp, paste it again, change bulb to pick, paste it again, and change bulb to wall. Let's go down into here, into this dim function. After this second line, where we've come up with this number I'm calling percentage bright. It's a decimal number based on where the cursor is. And I got to put these lines in here. Type. And we'll start with this one. It's a variable, and I'm calling it how bright. That's how bright the light should be. Capital A, H, capital B. How bright, capital H, capital B. RIGHT, colon number equals. And now you can copy this percentage bright and put it in here. Multiplied. That's the asterisk, which is the uppercase of the number 8. And multiplied by bulb range, you can go up to your variables, or you can just type in bulb range. You go up to the variables and copy it. BULB, capital B, RANGE, semicolon. And now, type this line in. Bulb underscore MC period underscore alpha, alpha turns blue, equals the bulb bright minus how bright. Okay. And you can just copy that. Paste it in, change bulb to lamp, paste it again, change bulb to pick, paste it in and change bulb to wall. So here we have a value which is called bulb bright. Okay, bulb bright, and If we look up here, bulb bright was 80. That's as bright as it can possibly be. And we're going to subtract something that we developed called how bright. And if we did everything right, this should work. This movie, I think. And down. Up and down. Pretty good. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.